As the plane taxied onto the tarmac at LaGuardia Airport, passengers couldn't believe their eyes. An argument had spiraled out of control between a black woman in an elegant emerald green dress and a blonde flight attendant. The cabin fell into shocked silence when the flight attendant, in a fit of aggression, tore the woman's dress, leaving her exposed and humiliated. Little did anyone know, the woman wasn't just another passenger. She was Justice Elaine Patterson, a Supreme Court judge and one of the most influential figures in the country. What unfolded next stunned everyone on board and sent ripples across the nation. The flight from Atlanta to New York began like any other. Business people clutched laptops, families managed restless children, and frequent travelers settled into first class with the practiced ease of seasoned flyers. Among them was Elaine Patterson, dressed impeccably in a Valentino dress and carrying a sleek Louis Vuitton tote. Despite her high-profile status, Elaine had always preferred to blend in, avoiding unnecessary attention. Shortly after takeoff, Elaine adjusted her seat and prepared to review a brief for the judicial conference she was attending in New York. However, her plans were interrupted when a flight attendant, Amanda Walsh, approached. Amanda's demeanor was curt and impatient, her eyes scanning Elaine with thinly veiled contempt. "Ma'am, you're in the wrong seat," she snapped. Elaine handed over her ticket without hesitation, her composure unshaken. "This is my seat," she said simply. Amanda's lips tightened as she glanced at the ticket. "First class is reserved for certain passengers," she muttered, her tone icy. Elaine met her gaze calmly. "I am aware," she replied. Amanda huffed and moved on, but not before muttering something under her breath that made nearby passengers exchange uneasy glances. As the plane soared through the clouds, Amanda's hostility became more apparent. When Elaine requested a glass of water, Amanda deliberately ignored her, tending to other passengers instead. Another flight attendant, noticing the tension, discreetly brought Elaine her drink and apologized for Amanda's behavior. Despite the small kindness, Amanda's actions had already drawn attention. Whispers and sideways glances started circulating among the passengers. The situation escalated when Elaine stood to use the restroom. Amanda intercepted her in the aisle, her voice loud enough for others to hear. "Passengers like you shouldn't be wandering around first class like you own the place," she said, her words dripping with contempt. Elaine froze, her expression calm but her frustration evident. "I'm simply heading to the restroom," she replied evenly. Amanda smirked. "Next time, try coach. That's where you belong." Gasps rippled through the cabin as Elaine squared her shoulders and responded firmly, "I will return to my seat after I've used the facilities as I am entitled to." Amanda's face flushed with anger. "Don't get smart with me," she snapped. The tension in the air was palpable as Elaine made her way to the restroom, her dignity intact despite Amanda's increasingly hostile behavior. When she returned to her seat, she noticed Amanda lingering nearby, arms crossed and expression brimming with hostility. Amanda's eyes darted toward Elaine's tote bag in the overhead bin, and it became clear she had found a new target. "Ma'am, we've had complaints about your luggage," Amanda announced loudly, drawing the attention of nearby passengers. "I need to inspect it." Elaine looked up, her patience wearing thin. "My luggage is secured and complies with all regulations," she said calmly. Amanda leaned in, her voice sharp and condescending. "Are you refusing to comply with a flight crew member's directive?" "I am not refusing," Elaine said, her tone measured, "but I believe this inspection is unnecessary." Before she could finish, Amanda yanked the tote bag from the overhead bin with unnecessary force. In doing so, the strap of Elaine's dress caught, tearing the fabric. The sound of the rip seemed to echo through the cabin. Gasps filled the air as Elaine instinctively clutched the torn fabric to her chest, her designer dress now hanging awkwardly. "That's enough," Elaine said firmly, her voice cutting through the stunned silence. She stood, her eyes blazing with controlled anger. "Do you have any idea who you're speaking to?" Amanda rolled her eyes, her arrogance unshaken. "I don't care who you are," she retorted. "You're about to be removed from this plane." Before Elaine could respond, a man seated a few rows away spoke up. "Do you even know who she is?" he asked, his tone incredulous. Amanda turned, startled. "What?" she snapped. "She's Justice Elaine Patterson," the man continued, his voice rising. "A Supreme Court judge, Supreme Court of the United States." The cabin erupted in murmurs as passengers exchanged wide-eyed glances. Amanda's face paled as the weight of the revelation sank in. Another passenger chimed in. "Justice Patterson is one of the most respected legal minds in the country." Amanda stammered, her confidence crumbling under the collective scrutiny. When the plane landed at LaGuardia, the atmosphere was tense. The captain's voice came over the intercom, instructing passengers to remain seated. Moments later, 2 uniformed officers boarded the plane. Amanda, now visibly shaken, was escorted off without resistance. Her earlier defiance had dissolved into fear and embarrassment. As passengers began to disembark, a man in a sharp suit approached Elaine. "Justice Patterson, I'm the airline's regional manager," he said, his voice laced with regret. "I deeply apologize for this incident and assure you a full investigation will be conducted." Elaine met his gaze with calm resolve. "This isn't about apologies," she said. "It's about ensuring no one else is subjected to this kind of treatment." By the time Elaine reached her hotel, the incident had already made national headlines. Passengers' videos of the altercation had gone viral, with hashtags like #Justice for Patterson and #FlyingWhileBlack trending across social media. Prominent figures voiced their outrage, calling the incident a stark example of systemic racism and discrimination. The airline quickly issued a public apology, announcing Amanda's suspension and promising to reevaluate its training protocols. For Amanda, the fallout was swift and unforgiving. The media dug into her past, uncovering complaints from previous passengers about her unprofessional behavior. Facing immense public backlash, Amanda issued a shaky video apology, but it did little to salvage her reputation. Elaine, however, used the incident as a platform for advocacy. In a statement, she emphasized the need for systemic change, urging airlines to adopt stricter diversity and sensitivity training. Her calm yet powerful response inspired millions, proving that dignity and perseverance can prevail even in the face of humiliation. Elaine's ordeal sparked a nationwide conversation about racial bias, ultimately leading to tangible reforms in the airline industry. Through it all, Justice Elaine Patterson reminded the nation that justice doesn't stop at the courthouse. It extends to every corner of society, even 30,000 feet in the air. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the Story Hub and press the bell icon for more compelling content. Thank you for watching.